What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Yeah, we're checking out this one, man. I had a thought. What were the worst serial killers of all time? So we got YouTube to look it up and see. But yeah, before we start, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And yeah, we're on the road to 10K, man. So let's get it. Let's go. Shout out to everybody, man, all over the world. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. And yeah, let's check this out. 15 worst serial killers of all time. Get it.
Danger Dolan. From crazy clown killers butchering small children to the man who killed his own father and ate his heart, we count 15 of the most dangerous psychopathic murderers we've ever had the misfortune to hear about.
Of course, I know of a few. I don't know if he's gonna talk about people from other countries, probably. But of course, we have the famous ones in America, like Ted Bundy, or infamous ones. Ted Bundy, Jeff Dahmer. What was that other one? It was like the one that was killing people in a river, or putting their bodies in a river in Oregon or something like that. And a few other ones that I can't think of right now.
Number 15. Jeffrey Dahmer, an American serial killer from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
He would lead men to his apartment and dismember their bodies, keeping their skulls as souvenirs.
Dude was
he did this a total of 17
crazy.
times and was actually known to eat parts of his victims from time to time. Luckily, his final would-be victim escaped, managed to flag down a police car passing on the road, and Jeffrey was sentenced to 900 years jail, but was found dead at prison in 1994.
Yep, somebody killed him.
Moses Sithole, seen as one of the most infamous serial killers of South Africa, he began what was known as the ABC murders, since his murders began in a town starting with A, Atteridgeville, then moved to Boksburg, and finally Cleveland. He would lead victims into abandoned fields and overpower them, usually involving rape and subsequently death. After he was captured in 1995, his sentence was set to over 2,000 years with a possible parole in just under 1,000 years.
What?
But there's a good chance he won't live that long.
He's not gonna get parole. What?
Number 13.
He's not even gonna live 1/10 of that.
A complete maniac who disguised himself as a charismatic, somewhat friendly kind of guy. He would often kidnap women posing as an authority figure or a disabled man to catch them off guard, but then sometimes he would get so impatient, he would just boot down your door and stab you in the face while you sleep, then rape and cut off your head as a souvenir. He was captured in 1979, and 10 years later he was sentenced to the electric chair. Number 12. Pedro Philho. This guy's
electric chair. Thought, wasn't he the one they gave a choice of if he could? Probably not. Maybe they didn't give him a choice.
And he comes from a history of terrible violence that shaped the man himself. Before Pedro was even born, his father beat his mother and caused him a head injury in the womb. And then by the time Pedro turned 18 years of age, he had killed 10 people. Then he killed his father and ate pieces of his heart before getting sent to prison, where he killed more than 70 people. Because Brazil has maximum sentencing, Pedro was released in 2007 and is still around to this day.
Bro, that's crazy. Yeah, a lot of those, like, those South American countries, man, they don't give them the amount of years that they give people in America. Like, what? Like, he got released. He wouldn't have got released in America.
Sentencing, Pedro was released in 2007 and is still around to this day. Number 11. Dennis Nilsson. This guy was lonely, but in all the wrong ways. He lured over 15 young men and boys to his flat in London between 1978 and 1983. He killed them and slept with them in his bed because he wanted company. He would dispose of the decomposing corpses by burning them or flushing bits of them down the toilet. He was eventually caught because a plumber found human flesh in the pipes, so Nilsson was arrested and jailed for life. Number 10. Daniel Carmago. This guy was a child murderer with over 150 victims, usually young virgin girls. He only confessed to killing 72 people though, but he was jailed and then he escaped from jail and went around killing even more people in Ecuador. but he was arrested
Damn.
in 1989 and killed in jail. It is believed he might have been motivated to murder due to his stepmother, who abused him as a child. Number 9. Joachim Kroll. This guy comes in from Germany, a man who killed and ate 13 people, including small children.
What's up with people
Police got
eating
so
people,
desperate
man?
to catch him that they went knocking door to door asking if anyone had seen him before.
Disgusting.
And they got lucky when someone in Kroll's building pointed out Guts had been jamming plumbing pipes. It turned out Kroll had been slicing flesh off victims and cooking them to save on grocery bills. Thankfully, his heart exploded in jail around 1991. Number 8.
What?
Henry Lee Lucas. This guy originally came forward to say he and his accomplice Otis Toole had slaughtered thousands of people. In actuality though, police suspected him of only killing around 200, but only 4 of which were ever proven. Bizarrely, George W. Bush stepped up as governor at the time to change his death sentence to life in prison. Lucas died of natural causes at the age of 64, but we never really found out why George showed this strange generosity. Number 7. John Wayne Gacy, also known as the Killer Clown. He was originally arrested for sexually assaulting 2 teenage boys, but later released. He then enjoyed dressing up as Pogo the Clown, volunteering at parades and parties. But then we find out he killed 33 young boys, burying their bodies in his yard, the river, and near his house, while dressed as the clown. He was later arrested once again, where he confessed to his heinous crimes.
Is that where it is from?
Number 6. Luis Garavito. This took place in Colombia, and it's the subject of much debate, as well as an ongoing documentary. In 1999, he was arrested and convicted of killing at least 140 children, which would lead to a several hundred-year imprisonment at the least, except the Colombian justice system has a maximum penalty of 30 to 40 years. Because he was very cooperative and apologetic, his sentence was reduced to 22 years, but a public outcry continuously is preventing this from taking place. Number 5. Peter Sutcliffe, also known as the Yorkshire Ripper, who went on a 5-year rampage to murder around 13 women in the late 70s. Most were prostitutes who he hit with hammers, stabbed, and then sexually assaulted just before they died. He was only caught because he happened to be driving through the red light district and a police patrolman recognized his registration plates. Number 4. Pedro Lopez. He's often called the monster of the Andes, a man who murdered and raped young girls aged between 8 and 12. He was arrested in 1980 and later convicted of killing 110 girls, even though he confessed to over 300 total kills. In 1998, he was released on a $50 bail. A $50 bail!
What?
And now his current whereabouts are unknown. Number 3. Gills de Reyes, a bit of an old one from the 1400s, the celebrated military captain in the army of Saint Joan of Arc, who later turned to a life of crime. He would lure young boys to his castle.
Why would they even give him bail? That's crazy. Of course he's gonna disappear.
Joan of Arc,
who
later turned to a life of crime. He would lure young boys to his castle with the promise of sweets, then torture, and mutilate them in deeply inhumane ways. His greatest pleasure was to bathe in their blood, to stab them in the jugular, and allow warm blood to wash over him. His servants would then burn the bodies. Pretty sickening stuff. Number 2. Andrei Chicatillo, one of the most notorious serial murderers from Ukraine, the Ripper of Rostov, who had a strange fetish that he could only get off by stabbing and slashing victims instead of raping them. He spent 20 years free, butchering at least 50 people in the early 90s before he was arrested, then executed by a gunshot at 57 years of age. Number 1. Gary Ridgway. This man, known as the Green River Killer, murdered 71 women over the course of around 10 years. He would then pick up prostitutes and strangle them cold, then dump their bodies in the Green River, hence his nickname. He eluded the police for quite a while before they picked him up in 2001. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one! He later turned to a life of crime. What the hell was that? The police for quite a while before they picked him up in 2001. That is it for this countdown. Have a good one! Who later turned to a life of crime.
What did he just say? I have no idea what he just said, but hey. Yeah, those are some crazy people, man. insane. People's minds are crazy, man. If you enjoyed, though, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Comment which one of these are the craziest. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.